Yes. Welcome into the Work Shoot Show.
The Work Shoot Show.
Yes. Welcome in. Love doing this show, man. This is episode 6, I believe. If I'm not mistaken. Episode 6, joined by my co-host, as always, Mr. Peter McGinn. This week is our Full Gear predictions. We're also giving you a discussion where we're going to talk top 5 old wrestlers, old school, top 5 new school wrestlers. So we're giving you a list as well. It's going to be a pretty jam-packed episode because I'm going to go on vacation on the 19th. So you won't get any content till I get back, and which will be after Thanksgiving. Also, next week we will drop War Games predictions. So basically, when I get back, it'll be a full just review episode of Full Gear and War Games. But I'm excited to talk Full Gear today, even though the predictions will be a little out of whack because the tournament is kind of going on. So I wanted to talk to you about that. We'll get into that. But how you doing, Pete?
I'm doing well. I think for that prediction, I think we should make our guess on what we think.
Yeah, and
I don't think
it
should count. Yeah.
Perfect. You read my mind. But before we get in, well, I guess discussing AEW and we'll discuss WWE with War Games, but in terms of stuff going on, Mia Yim joined the OC over on the WWE side, which is pretty cool. So now they have a Rhea Ripley defender, so I'm excited for that battle. And I do feel that Rhea Ripley after this, it's time to fight Bianca. I think her star power is peak. They say she leads Judgment Day. They don't even give it to Finn Balor. They give it to her.
I mean, I'm a huge Rhea fan. She has so much future ahead of her. I don't know if they necessarily need to push her now, because of how young she is, and she can kind of do whatever she wants down the road. I'm more concerned about Mia Yim, where after the OC is done, I feel like she has no place in WWE.
They're dropping her to the side.
I'm not a big Mia Yim fan. She had her time. She had her time to prove herself in NXT, and I didn't get it with her.
Yeah, me neither. She didn't hit like cool? Bianca or Rhea did in NXT.
Yeah, if she was a better wrestler, it would be fine. But
she's really just I'm badass girl, and I hit the kendo stick.
She's slow. She's very slow in the ring, and that's my biggest issue with her. Her look and everything is there. It's just her in-ring performance is not for me. And
speaking of people just jumping in, because this is just our little news segment. Jeff Jarrett, Double J, AEW baby, called out Braun Strowman. Said, "Stop wearing them skinny jeans, Braun."
Man, I also not the biggest Jeff Jarrett guy. I don't know.
Not a lot of people are. I don't know many people who are Jeff Jarrett fans.
His match for Full Gear makes no sense to me.
Wait, who's he back? Isn't he with Jay Lethal?
Jay Lethal, yeah. And they're fighting Sting and Darby Allin. It's just
so they I feel like they carried on. I don't know if you watched, but this was right before we started this pod, and this was kind of what got us talking about it. But Ric Flair's last match, that's where I think they developed. I think Tony Khan was "Ooh, Jay Lethal and Jeff Jarrett have some good chemistry. Let's bring them on." And honestly, I'm gonna say this: Tony Khan, whether or not Jeff Jarrett helps with running the business, it's good to have him there to talk to him and Regal.
I like the persona of him. I just don't want to see
him wrestle.
60-year-old men in the ring anymore.
I agree. It needs to be all backstage, helping. I don't want Sting in the ring really anymore.
If he wants to hit somebody with a guitar every 3 months, I'm cool with that.
But he does not need to be on Dynamite weekly. No, sir.
No, sir. No, sir. His time is past. It's time for some other people to get the spotlight. And I mean, I hope this is a one-off.
Yeah, we shall see. Also, final things before we get into our main stuff. Crown Jewel happened. Normally, y'all are where's the review? No need to review Crown Jewel because I'm going to tell you what it is. Pete didn't even watch it. I watched it.
I never watch it.
This was Triple H's worst show, but granted, it's the Saudi show, so I expect that. But I will say, the Logan Paul Roman Reigns match was incredible. Was absolutely incredible.
I watched some of the highlights. Props to him.
I don't think he's injured. I don't think he's injured though, because he didn't talk about it on his pod, and he posted an Instagram of him training. I feel like that's a work for him not being in WWE for some time.
Interesting.
Because normally he would talk about it on his podcast. ever since the Roman Reigns interview, I watched like his podcast for wrestling stuff. Mm-hmm. And he didn't talk about it at all. And that's very un-Logan like. And to see him post the Instagram of him training as well is like, bro, you can't be training if you tore ACL. Like,
yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I saw the initial heat after the show that he tore his like ACL and everything like that. I'm like, oh damn, he put in the work. And then I didn't really hear anything after that. So here
WWE didn't announce anything either. It was just him. Like,
yeah, I mean,
I'm telling you, I think it's to keep him away for right now.
Okay,
because I think he wants to do a boxing match with like KSI or be on the KSI card, whatever it is. Okay. And I think that my prediction is this is to keep him away until the start of the new year. Like I think in the Rumble, and then I think that's when everything will start picking up again.
Okay, cool. I'm looking forward to following this. I don't know. I'm putting quotation marks for a conspiracy theory just because I haven't heard anything. But yeah, I'll keep my ears to the ground.
Also,
forward.
Jake Paul should, bro. If Jake Paul if they're gonna do the Paul brothers tag team, Jake Paul has to train because the fake punch he threw looked horrible, Pete. Yeah. It looked horrible. Like he looked I'll say this. Logan's podcasting partners took those bumps better than Jake Paul throwing those punches.
Who throws worse punches, him or Shane McMahon?
Oh, him. Easy.
Oh, wow.
He bent his head. Like, it was like this. Like, and you could tell. And it's like, bro, you're a boxer. Like, what's happening?
I feel like you'd break your wrist doing that like an accident.
Like, it was horrible. But if he can also, he's not as good of a talker as Logan. Because in the press conference, he looked very uncomfortable. Like, now that it's not like actually him and it's him acting, it's a different type of. I don't think he's comfortable with that. And if he and Logan are gonna be WWE guys, then Jake Paul has to train on all fronts, fronts. And to be honest, I really don't want Jake in. I really just want Logan. If I'm being honest.
Yeah, I like Logan. I
Me
like
too.
him a lot.
I think Logan could be the champion one day, like legit, like The Miz.
Well, no, for sure. He has like the popularity where it would make sense to have somebody like him hold
talented.
The belt. I don't think he should beat Roman, but
like, no. Fuck no.
Yeah. But I mean, he has like the clout and everything like that to elevate, to get eyes on the product. So
yep. And besides that match, the only good one was OC and Judgment Day. Because Triple H is really pushing Finn Balor, and I'm ecstatic for it. I love it. And I love that he's pushing AJ Styles as well. Even though I think he's getting older, man. I don't know how much longer he has left. Like, I was watching the Miz documentary the other day, and it was like, bro, the Miz is old as shit. And if the Miz is old as shit, AJ Styles is old as shit.
Yeah. Was he like 45 right now or something like that?
He might be older than that because, dude, AJ Styles 45. Was wrestling. Okay. I was about to say he wrestled in the era of the Attitude Era.
Yeah, he was in TNA.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, man. So, but
that was the block.
Yeah, that was the only really good match. Other than that, I guess the other big thing. Did you see Raw this past week? Did you hear the news?
Tell me.
Okay, so Austin Theory cashed in his money in the bank against Seth Rollins and lost. And people are like, wow, Triple H burying Austin. I don't think it's that. I think it was, honestly, I think Vince McMahon put him in a situation he couldn't win.
100%.
And I think Triple H did the right thing of making him cash in on the U.S. because it makes the U.S. elevated, which tells me that, okay, for the time being, Intercontinental Gunther's already raised that bar. Like, that's must-watch TV. And now, with Seth Rollins in U.S., that's must-watch TV. So that tells me that Roman's still going to hold the belts for a while, and he's still not going to be on weekly.
Yeah. I think that maybe Triple H learned his lesson from when Vince pushed Roman as a face to the moon for like 4 years, and it just didn't work. And I don't think he wants Theory to
go through that
same thing where it's so forced, it's not going to work.
Like, and it just felt like whereas with Dominic Mysterio, it feels like he's naturally becoming a heel. Like he's getting better and better each week. Whereas Theory's an already good wrestler, but the issue is they forced him down our throats to where I don't give a fuck about Austin Theory.
I think the Dominic situation's better with the other people that he's with, where it's not solely focused on Dom all the time.
Yep.
Like it is. I mean, let's be real. It is a lot of the time, but I mean,
but
Finn Balor is a presence.
Exactly. And it helps pick up his weaknesses. Whereas with Theory, his weaknesses are just shown out in the open. And honestly, I know Triple H wouldn't have did it, but I would have loved the idea of him cashing in on NXT and being the NXT champion for a bit and giving Braun Breaker a true like heel. In that way, it's like, oh, the future is Braun Breaker and Austin Theory.
Yeah, but, I'm a huge Braun guy, so yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, they didn't do that, but whatever. And that's pretty much all the news from around AEW and WWE. AEW-wise, I'm sure we'll get to it when we do the predictions because, for example, in Full Gear, one of my favorite storylines is Powerhouse Hobbs and Wardlow, and that's in Full Gear. So,
yeah.
All right, you ready to get to it?
Let's get to it.
All right, set us up, Pete. Tell us the standings, the scores, and whatnot, and where we're at.
Yeah, so far we have done 2 pay-per-views where we've done predictions, and we both had the exact same record of 7 wins, 4 losses, or 7 correct, 4 incorrect.
I am no longer the predictions champ. We're now tied.
But good news, this one we will have. So we're not doing the AEW World Champion one. So we're gonna have 7 matches to go.
No,
over.
the first we won't do the number 1 contender. We're doing the World Championship.
Yeah, sorry, the number 1 contender for the World Championship. Yeah. We're gonna do that, but it's not gonna count for a record. So I'm assuming with 7 predictions here, somebody's gonna come out on top.
On top, yep.
That being said, unless we have the same ideas for every single match,
which sometimes we do, but for the most part, we have our own thoughts. So yeah. Let's do the one that doesn't count first. Let's do the tournament. And so I want to bring this up to you. Ethan Page, your boy, lost. Eddie Kingston. I was so sad.
I was saying my boy Eddie Kingston
lost. Yeah. He beat him. He tapped him out, which like gives him the he didn't lose thing. But like that tells me that there's a storyline coming for Eddie with either Ethan Page or something along the lines coming.
Okay. All right. So at the time of recording, we have Ethan Page will be going up against Bandito.
Oh, that happened? I thought it was the winner of Bandito.
No, that hasn't happened. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And then Brian Cage will face the winner of Lance Archer versus Ricky Starks.
Yep.
So that's where we're at right now. So I guess our prediction is just like, where do we think who versus who maybe?
Yeah. And who wins?
Okay, I think it's going to be Ethan Page versus Ricky Starks.
I agree 100%.
And I think Ethan Page is going to win.
This upsets me. I'm glad this doesn't count because you know how I feel. I said this when we did our draft episode, which, by the way, go check out. It's an incredible episode of us drafting our companies. And I didn't realize that my company already existed. Like,
that's tough. There are so many wrestling companies out there.
But the thing is, it was Ultimate Championship Wrestling. Mine was the Ultimate Championship Wrestling. So the T changed it up. But
definitely not getting sued for that one.
Yeah, exactly. Check out our draft. But in that episode, I said that I want Ricky Starks to win it all because I think a match between MJF and Ricky Starks, that's better than anything I could think WWE puts forward with Roman right now at the time. Like, that is incredible because Ricky Starks is the perfect babyface mouthpiece to go up against MJF.
Yeah.
But the firm, they've set up this beef. So it's like, does the beef come first or does the good Ricky Starks? Just because you picked Ethan Page, I already did predict the Ethan Page and the firm versus MJF. I'm going to pick Ricky Starks just because that's who I want to win. But I'm not surprised if Ethan Page does win to give us Ethan versus MJF.
Gotcha. Okay.
Glad that doesn't count.
No, yeah. Doesn't count. So we'll start at the bottom of the card and then move our way up to the top.
Gotcha.
Which what I think is probably going to be a big old stinker of a match. We have Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal versus Sting and Darby Allin. I don't know the actual stats, but I'm not sure if Darby Allin has ever won on a pay-per-view. So because of that, I'm going to go Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal. I to be honest, I have no dog in this fight. I don't care who wins.
Me neither.
If there's a storyline of this, I don't really care much about it. I think that this is going to be like a cooler match. It wouldn't surprise me if this match is like 7 minutes long or something like that.
Look, I'm with you. And see, this counts. So for me, I feel like it's like, okay, You just bring Jeff Jarrett in and Jay Lethal, give them that new partnership. They should win.
Yeah.
But like you said, Darby Allin and Sting haven't won in a while. It's been a hot minute. Like the last thing they won, I believe they won that casket match where they beat Malachi Black and put him in the body bag. But like that he was losing anyway because Malachi Black was leaving. So I'm picking Jay Lethal and Jeff Jarrett. But this is a match, like you said, that either one can happen, and I don't give a damn what happens.
It's just like, who cares?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I don't even know what they are. They're not even, I don't even know if they're mid-carders. They're just kind of...
This is jobbers. Well, Jay Lethal's a great wrestler. Like, I love Jay Lethal.
They're workers.
Yeah.
They're workers, but let's be real, this is going to be a cooler match, I feel like, and it had some hold, like...
I just wish Jay Lethal did better stuff. Like, Jay Lethal was the former Ring of Honor champion, former X Division. Like, dude is a great wrestler, and they're not giving him shit. And it just upsets me. Hopefully, this is the switch to give him stuff. But, like, Jeff Jarrett,
yeah, no, for sure. So, okay, so we both got Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal going over.
Yes, sir.
Sting and Darby Allin. Next up is our first women's match. We got Dr. Britt Baker versus Saraya.
What a great promo. Saraya came out hard. She did her thing. But, like, I want DMD to win, man. Holy shit.
So, do you want to give Saraya a pop for her first win since, 2015, 16? When's the last time that she had a wrestling match?
And I don't think you're going to bury her. Like, I think you're going to give her the match, which sucks for Britt Baker.
Okay. I think this one can also go either way.
I agree.
I have a feeling
shenanigans.
I'm feeling shenanigans. I'm feeling a little shenanigans. I feel like a Saraya distracted Dr. Britt Baker roll up win is kind of like what I feel like this match is also going to be a stinker, but I think they want to set something up
for the championship. Yeah, which neither of these women have to do. Like,
yeah. Because like I could see both of these. Well, Britt obviously was the former champ. Saraya, her name is there where she could easily be the champ. Honestly, probably should be the champ.
Yeah, exactly.
But I don't know if they want to push Saraya yet to that level. So
do you give Saraya the win and then lead her to her championship run and then let Britt reface her once she wins?
I think they want to continue this, so because of that, I'm going Britt Baker gets the win.
Ooh, okay, nice, like that. I'm gonna go Saraya just because of there's no way I can see Tony Khan burying her. And it's not burying; it's giving her a loss first match. And like they're too close already. But to your point, Britt Baker is the pillar of the women's division. So like you said, I can see it going anyway. But just to be different, I'm gonna go Saraya.
Okay, sounds good. I think this one is probably gonna be the easiest lock of the night. Jade Cargill versus Nyla Rose.
Oh yeah, Jade.
Do we see Jade losing? Like
no.
The only thing I can think of is, do they finally want to make Jade the women's champ? And if that's the case, she will lose here.
Okay, to that point, I think they wait until whatever happens with Saraya and Britt Baker. I think Toni Storm will lose the belt to one of those two women. And then I think once their feud happens, whoever's the next champion is getting destroyed by Jade Cargill.
Yeah, for sure. I just like Jade's still kind of green, pun intended.
Yeah, really.
I think they want to just continue on what she's doing, like not losing, getting better in the ring,
learning from Kenny, because Kenny is the main person training her.
Yeah, I mean she's got the presence, she's got the look, like she's going to be the champ.
Oh, Kenny and Bryan Danielson.
Yeah. She's going to be. I mean, she's going to be the superstar of AEW, and not even men's or women. I think she's going to be the focal point. Of AEW,
number one.
In like 2 years, but it's not time for her to be that yet. So I do think that she's going to win. I do think she will eventually lose to some up and coming shenanigan, and then that's when they're going to push her. But honestly,
I think when they do it, they might switch her to a babyface. Like I think she's still heel time. It's still being that bad bitch and like and doing her like, baddie thing.
I feel like Jay can like play both
anti-hero
sides if she wants to. Yeah, we're like, I don't know, like letting something out and be a little bit of a heel, but at the same time being like confident and strong and like like that's just who she is as a person. But I can't.
She's gonna be like whereas Bianca is like Hulk Hogan, John Cena. Jade to me is like Steve Austin, The Rock.
Yeah. I think Jade's kind of like MJF, where like MJF can play both sides if you want.
Oh yeah, no. I put MJF in that category as well. Like on that side, like he is not. Whereas like Ricky Starks is to me a straight up babyface. Like 100%
for sure. So I'm assuming you're taking Jade.
Jade, yes sir.
Yeah. I don't think anybody.
If Nyla Rose and fucking Vicky Guerrero win, it will be a crime against humanity.
Next up, the 4-way match. I think this one's will be super fun. Jericho versus Bryan Danielson.
Oh man.
Versus Claudio versus Sammy. This has match of the night written all over it.
Yes, it does, and it's toughest to predict.
I think. Okay, we said this before. Another prediction where I thought Jericho was going to go on tour. He's going to drop the belt, but he keeps going on tour and then flying back and doing wrestling matches.
Dude was on The Masked Singer. Like
this time for sure he's dropping it and going on tour. I don't think that there's any chance that Jericho wins. So my reason behind here is based off of something that's gonna be happening later down the road. I think, man, this one's tough. I think it's between two people. It's between Bryan and Sammy. Sammy is he's got the heat and he's a wrestler, but Bryan just beat Sammy in that 2 out of 3 match yesterday. He did.
And I think, you know what I think is going to be? I'm leaning towards Bryan for Daniel Garcia versus Bryan for the Ring of Honor Championship.
Okay, I'm gonna go with my gut and what I originally thought of. I'm going Sammy Guevara winning this match.
Oh my goodness, the world will be so upset if that happens. And
dude,
talk about heat. He's
heat.
hot right now. He is. I'm going Danielson, man. I'm going Danielson. Poor Claudio. Like. Poor Claudio. That's all I have to say for him.
I feel like Claudio's will do like the most in the entire match just for him not to win.
To win, exactly.
I hope we get like a Bryan. I mean, because it's like Jericho Society and Blackpool in this. But I can kind of see like Claudio being like, well, this is for like a belt. We're wrestlers. I want to see like Sammy on the ground. He stacks Bryan on top of Sammy and then spins both of them. I would love that.
That'd be great.
So I'm going Sammy. You're going Danielson.
Bryan. Yeah, we're going Danielson.
I think it's one or the other. I think it's tough.
That's the hardest one to predict because I could honestly see Jericho just winning and they're just continuing this nonsense.
Yep, agreed. Next up, we have Toni Storm versus Jamie Hayter for the interim AEW Women's Champion.
I think this will be the worst match of the night. Over the Jay Lethal one because. There's nothing like, and I used to pick up Toni Storm, but like, they're not pushing her at all, man. The storyline is like, she used to be homeless with Jamie Hayter, and like, they used to be to me, it's right now, if it's not Jade Cargill or Saraya or Britt Baker, Tony Khan doesn't give a fuck. And it's sad.
It feels like they're kind of in limbo where they don't know. So they have to put the belt on somebody, but it's like that's not really who they want it on. And
exactly.
That's kind of like where I'm feeling. Where in this situation, is there going to be a difference if Tony has it compared to Jamie? Like to me, it's just like either one of them works, I guess, in the sense that you need somebody to hold the belt, but none of them are like threats to me. Like,
and my thing is, if you put it on Jamie, does that start beef with Britt? And like, does that like? How do you get the belt on Saraya? To me, I think the easiest way is to take down Toni Storm more so than Jamie Hayter. I feel like Jamie Hayter is just like a stopgap right now. And I'm going Toni Storm, man.
Okay.
Even though like, I don't think it matters to your point, who wins this match.
I'm also going Tony. It's something where just because I think Britt's winning the other match that Tony needs to win this match type of thing. But it could be where Saraya wins that one and then Jamie wins this one. I can see both scenarios. I don't see like double faces winning or double heels winning. I think it's gonna be one or the other. And just because of that, I'm gonna pick Tony. But yeah, I feel like this is gonna be like either the worst or second worst match of the night. Which sucks because
the roll up Saraya wins, to your point.
Mm-hmm.
Tony wins, and Britt's gonna say it was some cheat stuff.
Yeah,
triple threat: Britt, Tony, Saraya for the championship at Winter's Coming.
I could see. Yeah, I could definitely see something like that. Yeah, for sure. Okay, so we're both going Toni Storm for
this one. Yes, sir.
This one, I feel like we're gonna do the same thing, but our tag match, the Acclaimed versus Swerve in Their Glory.
It happened. Look, I saw all I needed to see in the 3-way match with FTR, Acclaimed, and Swerve, and the Guns. The Acclaimed are winning, and Swerve in the Glory is breaking up that night.
I feel like they should have broken up weeks ago.
Yeah, exactly. And Swerve is killing it. Swerve is. I see everything you talk about Swerve right now. He's going to be the best heel not named MJF in AEW.
He's great. He's got the look. Mm-hmm. I love his in-ring work as well, and he's got the personality.
That flip he did against FTR, where it looked like he was doing a front flip, then he turned it into a corkscrew, and and Taz was like, "Oh my god, that was incredible."
I mean, there's a reason why I drafted him into my
I get franchise.
It. I think he's fantastic. This just is like, I feel like I love their first match, the last pay-per-view. That was super fun. I think it was like the highest rated match I gave that night.
They waited too long. This should have ended, and it should be FTR versus them.
It should maybe not even FTR, because I like what they're doing with FTR.
They set up like they're doing the long storytelling with the Acclaim. Like they set up like a little beef in that little in that match. I liked it.
I just don't get why Swerve. This should not be Swerve in Our Glory. They should not be fighting the Acclaim. It should be. I mean, I wish it was Top Flight, but I know that guy's hurt.
Yeah.
It should be even like Gun Club. Even if I'm not the biggest fan of Gun Club, it should be
someone else. Yeah,
somebody else. You need to put them in the spotlight. Like, of course they're going to lose, but they need to have the screen time, the presence.
And honestly, if Keith Lee, if they separate, there's a whole division of like big meaty men, because I think the Powerhouse Hobbs, Wardlow, Samoa Joe area. You put Keith Lee in that, and it's like, whoa, the TNT title and the Ring of Honor television title both matter now.
Yeah, no, for sure. I would rather like Keith and Swerve feud, and then Keith goes, because I want Swerve obviously winning that feud.
Yeah.
And then Keith can go mess with Wardlow, with Samoa Joe and stuff like that. It's just one of those things where I wish the booking was a little bit better in this match. I
agree.
I don't really understand it. Like, they don't need
they don't need this match.
Yeah. Where's the story?
Are you gonna let the Acclaim lose? Which you're not gonna do. There's no way. Like,
I think there's like a 2% chance, but like the Acclaim they're the second hottest thing in AEW. Like, they're scorching hot. Don't take the belts off the scorching hot.
And honestly, I could see a Billy Gunn versus Swerve match after this.
Oh my god, that'd be real fun. But yeah,
so we're both going Acclaimed.
I think we have to.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, and then we got our championship match.
Oof.
Your boy Mox.
I know, man, versus
MJF.
And Mox is like, his speech was incredible. Of like him being the ace. It's just like, I just don't know how you don't put it on MJF.
You have to.
There's
no, if not now, win, essentially.
The only way I could see Mox winning is because Winter's Coming is a December pay-per-view, is if you let Mox win this one, MJF goes like to bottom floor and he has to build himself up and take the championship. That's the only way.
Here's how I think that MJF could lose, where he's been kind of teasing a face turn, where I think there might come a time where somebody interferes.
The Firm?
Maybe the Firm, but they take out Mox and not MJF.
Ooh.
And then MJF has to decide, like, do I take this win and get the belt? Or do I do like the honorable thing and like beat Mox straight up? And then, like, because of that, he loses. And I can see something along those lines, but it's MJ. It has to be MJF.
It has to, yeah.
It has to be.
I agree. I agree as well. I'm going MJF as well.
Okay.
You know, I'm a Moxley stan, and obviously
I know you are.
Moxley is the ace of the company right now, but MJF is the future. I think Moxley will get another run after he gets his vacation.
Go on vacation, please.
Yeah. I think he's gonna get his vacation now. And I think when he comes back, they'll get Moxley in some incredible run going where it's like either him versus MJF or something along those lines.
Yeah, I mean, Mox can literally whenever he wants, he do whatever he wants. Leave for 3 months, come back, he'll still be piping hot. I also want to see him, in case he does want to go on vacation to say maybe Japan.
Oh, wait, I got it for you. And
okay.
It makes sense why he would leave now. Do you know what is coming up? That's not with a different company. It's not a New Japan. It's not AEW. It is GCW, which Mox is a frequenter. It's the death match place, and one of his former rivals, someone he looks up to. He was in the documentary for this person in the new season of Dark Side of the Ring, Nick Gage, and it is time for the 7th annual Nick Gage Invitational. I could see John Moxley participating in that and losing this, doing that, and taking a break.
Oh, okay. So here's what I was thinking. So when Mox was in Japan for a little bit, he sort of had like I'm gonna use a term I guess I learned from anime, a Kohai Senpai relationship with this guy named Shota. So Shota was learning under John Moxley. Well, Shota debuted essentially in New Japan, not as a young lion anymore, but as like his own. I think his name is he's like the Roughneck. I think that's like his nickname. Okay. And he's challenging Will Ospreay for the US champion. So I could see maybe Shota losing to Ospreay, but then Mox showing up and then Mox versus Ospreay for the US champion because Mox is a former US champion in New Japan.
And so then that could get Will Ospreay to lose the belt and maybe move on to the top dog spots.
Yeah, it'd be I gotta dig more into New Japan to see like what their structure is right now because I haven't been following it as much as lately. But I like that. Mox likes to, like you said, Mox likes to go to GCW. He likes to go to New Japan. He likes to do these other things and not just be in one spot. So.
And both of our theories can happen because the Nick Gage Invitational starts in like the beginning of December. It might start now, but it's a bunch of matches. And like you said, like Mox could do that, go to New Japan at the start of the year, and then be back in AEW in the summer.
Yeah, and just like be on vacation, show up to New Japan like once. Mm-hmm. You can set up because I think when's Wrestle Kingdom? Well, give me 1 second here.
Oh yeah, do your thing. It's just so interesting, man. I'm very interested to see what they do. I think this is Tony Khan's biggest decision yet, even more so than CM Punk and Mox. I think this is the one where this will make or break like him as a booker.
Yeah. So Wrestle Kingdom, which is essentially New Japan's WrestleMania, is January 4th.
So that could be some Mox territory.
We have 8 weeks to set up something for Mox because I mean, if you want your biggest card and you want the US champion, which is normally non-New Japan wrestlers or non-Japanese wrestlers is usually that. I think Mox versus Ospreay is a huge draw.
Hey, and look, let me tell you this. To that point, if that's happening, if FTR loses there, they're going for the AEW Tag Team Champions. I'm telling you that right now. Like, if they lose at Wrestle Kingdom and give up those belts, that tells me in 2023, FTR versus The Acclaim is coming.
Gotcha. Yep. So yeah, that no tag team match has been announced for Wrestle Kingdom yet. So
interesting. I'm telling you, man, they're trying to figure that out. What's happening?
Now I'm just looking at it. And me and you are gonna have we have to watch this because
we can do Wrestle Kingdom
because my boy Okada is going up against Jay.
My guy Jay White. Let's get it.
We'll get to that in a few weeks.
Yeah, when we do that for sure. All right, so. Cool. We did our predictions. So now let's get into ranking our top 5 old school, top 5 new school wrestlers. You want to start with old school?
Yeah. So this is old school is different for me compared to I think a lot of other people. I grew up in the Attitude Era, obviously. So that's kind of like what I'm viewing that time frame. Do you want to give like honorable mentions? Just because
let's do it.
I'm not familiar with their like work, but I understand like their influence. So because of that, Antonio Inoki, if it wasn't for him, like Japanese wrestling in the United States would be significantly delayed.
Yeah, and what he did, he put on the biggest match ever in Korea with the whatever that thing's called, where it was the peace treaty between WCW and Ric Flair versus him at in North Korea. Biggest match ever, bigger than any WrestleMania. They had like hundreds of thousands of people, and all of North Korea was in there watching that. So I like that honorable mention.
And I think he also fought Muhammad Ali or something.
Yes, he did. That. Yes, he did.
So just wild.
I'll give one Ric Flair honorable mention for me.
Okay, Yeah, Ric Flair, that is a good one. I also want to shout out, just because I'm from Minnesota, Vern Gagne.
Nice.
He essentially established Minnesota wrestling, and because of that, we've gotten like Rick Rude is from Minnesota. Now in WWE, like Otis and Chad Gable, they're from
and
Minnesota.
even Brock Lesnar's from
Brock Lesnar.
Minnesota.
Brock Lesnar, yeah, Brock Lesnar. I guess he wrestled for Minnesota, but he's a Dakota boy.
Gotcha,
but I mean,
gotcha.
we claim him.
I was about to say y'all should.
He went to college here. He lived here for the majority of his life. Now he lives in like bumfuck Canada or whatever. But yeah,
and to everybody, why I said Ric Flair is honorable mention. I didn't see Ric Flair in my prime, and when I rank these in terms of basketball,
for sure,
I don't ever like to put Bill Russell, Kareem, or because I didn't watch them. Yep. And I didn't get to experience it. And there's no way you can sit and look at me and Pete, who are 28 years old, and say, hey, y'all experienced Ric Flair. There's no fucking way. Ric Flair was popping in the 70s. Like,
yeah,
what?
Exactly.
We are attitude area guys.
Yeah. And then I had a hard time. I wanted to include like a woman as well, but I feel like we are now entering like a brand new age of like women's wrestling.
Women's wrestling to me starts in the mid 2000s.
Yeah, so like I'm gonna give like a shout out to like Trish and Lita, just because they are essentially the pioneers of women's wrestling.
But they would get smoked by everyone today.
Yeah, I actually do think like they are both very good women's wrestlers and would make it in today's age, but they were like the only two who were like legit wrestlers, I feel like. And it's really hard to like judge their performance, I should say,
against people like the Bellas. Like,
yeah, where we're now, it's like we have like Charlotte and Sasha and Bailey, and not even to mention everybody over in Japan NXT, and Stardom or NXT. It's like it's a whole new like day and age. And I know that women's wrestling existed like Japan. We had no access to it. Like,
yeah, exactly. I mean, you could say maybe like Mae Young in the Fabulous Moolah, but like,
yeah. It's beyond our time, so
exactly.
It's hard to judge that. So I just wanted to give him like the nod.
Also, want to give honorable mention to Dusty Rhodes.
Oh, great one, love it.
Like, he was the man who allowed for guys like Otis and like bigger guys to like have a spot. And the way that he does promo work, a lot of guys copy him to this day. So
for sure. Okay, so getting into our top 5. So I'm kind of doing this starting at like around WrestleMania 1 to like WrestleMania 20. It's kind of like what I'm thinking. So first and foremost, kind of put wrestling on a more mainstream eyes. He hosted Saturday Night Live with Mr. T. I think he's one of the most iconic wrestlers of all time. It's Hulk Hogan.
Nice. I put him at my 5 as well. I couldn't put him higher just for like his just how shitty of a person he is.
Yeah, right.
You can't have a list and not have Hogan on there, from what he did as like the Hulkamania era, but even more so what he did with the New World Order. You don't get things like the Bullet Club, Evolution, and all these factions we love without the New World Order.
And I mean, Hollywood Hulk,
Hollywood Hogan's the man.
Reinvented himself. In-ring work was, I mean, for his time, I think was pretty solid. I've watched a good amount. Even when he got older, like Hulk.
He wasn't a bad wrestler.
No, but even like Hulk Rock at like WrestleMania 18, just an insane match for
best match of that night.
I mean, honestly, probably the best. It's hard to say because like the Hulk slam on Andre is so iconic. I don't think that's like his best match. I think Hulk Rock is the Rock and Hulk Hogan's best match of all time.
Yeah, I can see that for sure.
Yeah, so my number 5 is Hulk Hogan.
Nice. That's my number 5 as well.
All right. My number 4, you mentioned him earlier. I just love his personality. When Migos did an entire song about him, that means you made it. I'm going with Ric Flair.
Nice.
The journeyman. He's been all over the country, all over the world. Just
jet flying high tide, the man, bro. Ric Flair's the man.
I mean, like, if you want to be a heel and you need to do research,
it's him.
I think Ric Flair is the first person you do. You watch videos.
If you look at MJF has Ric Flair in him
100%,
like 1000%. So if Flair's your 4, my number 4 is the best there ever was, the best there ever will be, Bret Hart.
Ooh,
in terms of wrestling, every indie darling, these Bryan Danielsons, these FTRs, all these guys, Seth Rollins, all these guys that we consider the best wrestlers come from Bret Hart. Directly from Bret Hart in Stu Hart's dungeon. Bret Hart has to be on the list.
So my number 3 is very similar to like your line of thinking, where you went Bret Hart. I'm going Shawn Michaels at my number 3.
Okay, nice. I've shown on my list a little higher though.
Shawn, to me, kind of like revolutionized the not big guy.
Yep.
Where, for instance, like the ladder match against Razor Ramon, kind of like showed that you don't need to be this hulking presence to be a world champion. And his Heartbreak Kid stereotype, or not stereotype, his like persona, just like, to me, just changed so much of the landscape, where you don't have to be 6'4", 260 pounds to be world champion. I mean, you still have to be insanely good looking, very good at wrestling, and have it like a great gimmick. But he kind of just elevated like these smaller dudes. And now even outside of wrestling, where he's the coach at NXT,
his just doing still felt
and doing incredible work. I mean, like he's putting on matches or he's like making the matches in NXT that are just, I mean,
bangers.
It makes what Black and Gold is today. So yeah, I love his more to me was like also like a revolutionary in terms of in-ring work
and promo.
Promo for sure, but I think a lot of times where like something like John Cena gets the 5 tools of doom or whatever that he has, like, you know exactly what John Cena is doing in a match. Shawn kind of mixed it up. Where like
Shawn could do everything
at any point. Like Shawn could do something crazy because he was so athletic, he was so smart, and he was willing to work with like whatever he had and make the matches that much better. So yeah, I just because of that, I'm gonna give Shawn my number 3 spot.
Nice. Do you consider Eddie Guerrero new school or old school?
I'd put him in the old school.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So then that does my number 3, which is Eddie Guerrero. Look, in terms of heels, you can chart it from Ric Flair, Shawn, and get right to Eddie. Eddie is incredible. The frog splash. Like, I know people give credit to RVD for that, but Eddie is a lot of people's inspiration. Sasha Banks, Montez Ford. You look at like a lot of these high flyers today, they look at Eddie Guerrero, what he did for luchadors, him and Rey Mysterio breaking open that door. Like, and to talk about a guy who battled his demons, became the champion, and had so much swagger, lie, cheat, steal, was one of the best heels of all time. I gotta put Eddie Guerrero at number 3.
As probably my favorite like pop of all time, when he defeated Brock Lesnar for the champ. Oh my God, what a pop.
Great.
What a moment.
Great.
I love him.
I'm cheating at my number 2. I'm just letting you know.
Okay, that's fine. Number 2. I mean, I think we might have the same, but we'll see. And I think it's pretty consistent between most people in this type of era. Who's number 1 and who's number 2? I'm going The Rock, number 2.
Nice.
The most mainstream wrestler of all time. Revolutionized essentially his mic work. I don't think anyone has come close to what he did consistently. I think every night that he was on the mic was electric. I mean, he was the most electrifying man in sports entertainment history. You hung on every word that he said, and I mean, that was my childhood, was The Rock.
No, I'm with you.
I thought he was the coolest dude. And while he might not be the best,
what The Rock is cooking,
it pops every time. Just an incredible presence. And I mean, he's the reason why WWE is where it is today. So yeah, I'm going The Rock at 2.
Only reason why I don't have him on my list, and I didn't say for honorable mentions because I didn't want to give away my list, is because of his longevity in WWE. And I know that shouldn't take against him, but just for my list in general, I wanted to put on guys who are not only good talkers, but some of the best wrestlers. And number 2, that's why I said I cheated. Number 2 is Shawn Michaels / Triple H. I'm going DX at number 2. Because for what you're saying about how The Rock was electric promo-wise and everything, I can make the case that DX was as well. What DX did with Suck It, and like the way that they the letter they read on air about the USA Network, and the way that they pushed the boundaries of the Attitude Era. You could argue that DX started the Attitude Era. You can argue that what Triple H and Shawn Michaels are doing, where they went from DX to now running WWE, is incredible. The eye for talent. I mean, when I think of a character, the game, the fact that he studied the game so well and he just took everybody out. My only complaint with Triple H is how he did Booker T in that one match where Booker T should have went over. But, besides that, him and Shawn Michaels are the epitome of just great wrestling and good promo work. I have them tied at number 2.
I love the pick. Love the pick.
And I'm assuming number 1, we have the same.
Stone Cold.
Stone Cold.
I mean,
it's Stone Cold.
What is there not to say about Stone Cold? He
has everything. Promo, wrestling, longevity, indie dark, like he has it all. If the injury doesn't happen, Stone Cold probably was the champion throughout the 2000s.
And I think what Stone Cold did better, because like The Rock just looks like a superstar. Mm-hmm. Like Stone Cold really doesn't look like a superstar.
He doesn't.
And to elevate himself to super mega nuclear top star like ever is saying something. With the Stone Cold persona, maybe the best persona ever in wrestling. I think it's debatable, but
it's up there.
I mean, when the glass shatters and he comes walking out
every time,
it's over.
Yeah,
it's
every
over.
time.
And like nobody, I feel, is like that to the level that he is. It's a whole nother stratosphere where he is living. Stone Cold is
incredible,
and nobody hates Stone Cold. Everybody loves Stone Cold. He's incredible. That's a fact. And the stunner is one of the best moves of all time.
100%. All right, say your list again, your old school list.
Sure. Yep. So 5 is Hulk Hogan, 4 is Ric Flair, 3 is Shawn Michaels, 2 is The Rock, and 1 is Stone Cold.
I got at number 5 Hulk Hogan, at number 4 Bret Hart, at number 3 Eddie Guerrero, at number 2 D-Generation X in terms of just Triple H and Shawn Michaels. At number 1 I have Stone Cold. So all right, let's do the new school 5. Do you want me to start or are you going to start?
Yeah, how about you start this time?
All right, cool. I'll start the new school 5. So honorable mention, let me just give some honorable mentions out there. And this one, it hurts. And I wanted to put the Shield overall on my list, but I don't think I could because Jon Moxley is didn't do enough in WWE. He's doing his stuff now. But honorable mention, I have Jon Moxley just for what he's done in terms of outside of WWE, like in GCW, the way like you said, what he did in New Japan, the way he's the ace of AEW. I just want to give him an honorable mention, as well as some other new school guys I want to give honorable mention to is the New Day, because I don't think the New Day will be on any of our lists, but the New Day is arguably the best tag team of all time and arguably one of the best factions of all time.
Factions for sure. Tag team, I think that's debatable, but I do.
And I don't think they're number 1. I would put them obviously in like top 8 tag teams.
Okay. I'm cool with that.
So those are my honorable mentions. Any honorable mentions you have?
Yeah, I had Rey Mysterio.
Nice.
Kind of like what you're Eddie Guerrero. I think Rey could maybe be in like both categories. Revolutionized luchador wrestling in the United States, at least. Showed me something that I'd never seen before when I was a kid. So yeah, maybe he's an honorable mention for like the old school. Now that I think about it, but he's there. And then kind of like we did with the New Day, I did the Hardys.
Nice.
I think they just absolutely revolutionized tag team wrestling.
Yes, they did.
Whether it's the traditional style that they can wrestle to the extreme style that you see in like their TLC matches. So
also I want to give AJ Styles honorable mention because he won't make my list, but what he did in TNA, WWE, and New Japan, like he is arguably the Shawn Michaels of this era. Or like what him and Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels is a dream match.
And my last honorable mention is Charlotte Flair.
Nice.
I do think when it's all said and done that she'll probably be the best women's wrestler ever. I just think that everything about her is fantastic for women's wrestling. I love her persona. She's an insane worker.
She's great.
She's got the mic skills. I do wish that she could switch up a little bit on the mic. I think that's like her only problem is she kind of does the same stick a lot, but she's like a 9-time women's champion. Like she's been at the top of the card forever. I'm a huge Charlotte Flair fan.
Let me say Sasha Banks is my honorable mention for women's wrestling because I didn't put any in there, and I love Sasha Banks in terms of like horsewomen. Like I know some people like Becky, some like you said with Charlotte. I'm a Sasha guy, and what she did for Black and Afro Latino women everywhere is just incredible.
Love it.
So all right, cool. All right, well at my number 5. This one is because this covers from like the end of like this it starts at Ruthless Aggression to now. I have to put Roman Reigns at number 5.
Okay, I like that.
I have to put Roman Reigns for what he has done in terms of his whole career. I'm putting him at number 5. And I want to put Seth Rollins tied, but I don't know if I like that's kind of my cheat. I want to do all of the Shield, but in terms of Roman for his accomplishment, being one of the best heels as the head of the table, and then Seth Rollins is like his if Roman's Hulk, Seth Rollins is Macho Man Randy Savage to Roman's Hulk. So I want them both to be at number 5 because Rollins one of the best wrestlers of all time, and Roman one of the best heels of all time. So giving it to them both.
Okay. I like. See, I'm more of like I like Roman now. The last like couple of years has just been insane. Like his prior
his
stuff,
early trash. Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah. That's why I had to put him at 5 because I'm acknowledging this run.
Okay.
Because this run is modern day Bruno Sammartino. We'll never see a Roman Reigns like run again.
Oh, I think we will, but I think it's a very, very long time.
Because I think they're gonna get him to 1,000.
I think he's gonna hold the belt for a hot minute.
Yeah.
I mean, as long as the bloodline is hot, he's not losing the title. Like straight up. So my number 5, kind of like what you were saying with AJ Styles, more of like the venture man, and like just been everywhere. I'm going Bryan Danielson. I just think, kind of showcasing, like you said with Bret Hart, like his style of wrestling. I wasn't super into when I was younger, and now that I'm older, I'm more into it. And Bryan just does everything. He's held belts across the world. He's an incredible worker. I like how he reinvents himself, even like when he did like his vegan thing in WWE with like the people's or like the organic belt that he had.
Yeah.
Like only Daniel Bryan could do something wacky like that. Huge fan of him. I love his work. I love how he's still going now and kind of like the role that he's in. Huge fan. And yeah, I think he's going to go down as like one of the best ever.
Yep. All right. At number 4 for me, this is where I'm showing love to your guy from New Japan. I want to get a New Japan guy in there. He is arguably the John Cena of New Japan. I'm going Okada.
Oh, I see. I think Takahashi is the John Cena.
Okay.
Takahashi is definitely the because the Go Ace is like his theme song. But I mean, I love the Okada pick.
Yeah, gotta put Okada in there. One to show some love to New Japan, like the Rainmaker. He is the guy. Like when you think of Tokyo Dome, when you think of New Japan, obviously you could like when you think of Japanese wrestling, like you said, Inoki's in there, Takahashi. But like for me, it goes Okada.
I love it. I love it. My number 4 hurts me because he used to be my favorite wrestler of all time.
Now he sucks.
And now I hate him, but I'm not going to take that away from him for what he's done in the past. So I'm going CM Punk at number 4.
Nice.
For somebody who fell out of wrestling, I watched the Summer of Punk because he was on fire. Summer of Punk is, I mean, revolutionary in terms of like where the WWE like was not in a good spot.
No.
But Summer of Punk was volcanic hot. And him beating John Cena at Money in the Bank is one of my favorite wrestling moments of all time. The pipe bomb, he literally has a phrase like coined after him for what he did there. And kind of just like this is very prior, kind of for like standing up for a lot of other wrestlers.
Voice of the voiceless.
Yeah. Was really cool. I wish they didn't turn into angry old man who yells at Cloud, who he is now, it seems like. But man, yeah, a good 12 years of Punk was just incredible. And yeah, so I'm gonna put Punk at 4.
Look, for me at number 3, I'm going back to New Japan because what this guy did is Impact level. You could argue is the closest thing we've seen to anything like Hulk Hogan or like Stone Cold, for the way like he made wrestling shirts cool again. Like he sold out Hot Topic. He made people care about Japanese wrestling. I'm talking about the cleaner, baby. Kenny Omega at number 3.
I don't think anybody else has revolutionized Japanese wrestling to the West more than Kenny Omega. It's him and the Bucks are just, I mean,
too sweet.
They're a huge reason why wrestling in the, I'll say the United States. That's just because we're based out of.
Looks like it does today. Like it's because of them.
Global thing now because of for I'll say our age, it is a global thing because of the Bullet Club. Like straight up, like I saw if you go anime conventions, people wear Bullet Club shit all the time.
Every time.
Is like Bullet Club is more than just wrestling.
Yeah,
and they expand
the way
outside.
he viewed put video games and anime into his stuff. The Terminator, like just what he did. The fact that he has kids in America caring about Japanese wrestling when they couldn't understand any of it just shows how impactful he is. He has to be on the list for new school goats.
Yes, love the pick. My number 3 is somebody who, man, it has the same cadence as the Stunner.
Oh, okay.
As a finisher, I'm going Randy Orton at number 3.
A little bit higher. He's on my list.
Randy Orton.
He has to be on the list.
Every time you think you'd get sick of Randy Orton, you don't. Every time.
Triple H said it the best. He has everything. The looks, the moves. Randy Orton is the prototypical wrestler.
Yeah, I mean, he did a storyline with a MMA fighter Stoner and turned it into a incredible tag team run. If he didn't get hurt, they would probably still be champs. Like
they'd be those. Yeah.
Yeah, they were on fire. And Randy just, I mean, was he like a 15-time champion or something ridiculous? Holds every belt, is just in insane shape. He's kind of like The Rock, where he just looks like a superstar. Like he wears this stupid ass vest that does nothing,
but he looks great.
He's essentially naked. It's like, but I'm Randy Orton. Like, who gives a fuck?
Who gives a shit? Like, oh, he's incredible. Okay, so that's your number 3?
That's my number 3.
So at number 2, I cheated again. This is my only other cheat. It's because to me, I feel when you look at WWE heels, there's 2. There's Randy Orton, who has to be on the list. But there's this other guy, and I feel like this other guy has to be on there for what he did for tag team wrestling, what he did for tables, ladders, and chairs, what he did for putting John Cena over. It's Edge. I'm going Edge / Randy Orton tied at number 2.
Love it. I'm gonna steal one of yours. Your number 4, Okada.
Nice. I knew he would be on your list.
I think when it's all said and as long as he stays healthy, when it's all said and done, he will be the greatest Japanese wrestler of all time. He is an absolute superstar. The Rainmaker persona to me is when the coin flips and it hits the ground and his music hits, it's like, oh,
Yeah.
And then also he's the most consistent wrestler I feel like in the last 30 years.
He can do the big meaty man stuff. He can do the DDTs. He can do the high flip. Like Okada just has it all. Like the way we're talking about Randy Orton, it's Okada is the perfect Japanese wrestler.
I feel like a 4-star Okada match is like average. Like that is where he is. That's to me just the entire package, where even though he doesn't speak English, like when you
understand him,
he just has like this presence where like I can't take my eyes off of him. It's so blingy, it's so clean, it's so cool. He's just so cool.
Yeah,
I love Okada, and just honestly the top 3 workers in the world right now.
I agree. And then I'm assuming number 1 we both have Cena.
No.
Oh, no, Cena. You probably have Kenny. All right, my number 1 Cena, just because John Cena was wrestling in America for just so many years, and like You Can't See Me, Dr. Thugonomics, like when you think of guys who could get a pop today, it's Stone Cold, The Rock, and Cena, man. Like he's getting it over Hulk Hogan, like, and the fact that he has all those Ric Flair championships, he's gonna go down he's gonna get another one and be the most decorated champion in America. I have to go John Cena.
I think that's great. I think this is more of like a personal thing
for sure. For sure,
I love John Cena. Don't get me wrong. I'm not the biggest. I should say I'm not the biggest John Cena fan. Like I like what he does and everything like that. But like in ring work, he's not the best. He's not really that good of a wrestler.
But what he has in terms of like hard working, dedication, and like the outside stuff, the promos, that's what puts him.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I mean, he is as a face, I don't think anybody has been even close to touching him in the last like 40 years. I want to give another honorable mention. You said something about heels. Shout out to like the Miz for being.
Thank you. I thought about it, and I didn't want to just come in and say it out, but thank you. I'm glad.
But I mean, being a heel for. I mean, he was a face for like a little bit,
but like after Randy Orton and Edge, it's him,
which was also just crazy good. I mean, he's like probably the most prolific Intercontinental Champion in WWE history. Constantly being Inferno Heat heel level, where
it works as hard as John Cena, if not maybe a little harder.
And also, like, shout out to like the Miz. He's super safe. He's never like hurt anybody. I think that says a lot about a wrestler, and I think like he's super well respected.
One of the most trustworthy people in the game. Like they know that if you wrestle with the Miz, he will not hurt you.
And also like where he came from, just real being world, like real world, not really a wrestler coming into like
worked his ass off.
I think that says a lot about him. So
I'm glad you said it. That's honorable mention for me too. I'm with you.
Number one, it's personal, but I think like what he has done for me as a wrestling fan, and I think the world as well, it's Kenny Omega.
I'm glad. It makes sense.
Revolutionized, essentially, for me at least, and I'll say my sphere, because I'm assuming there's some people that have like different relations with Kenny, but really brought New Japan to the West for me.
Yeah.
Like he's the reason why I spent $6.99 a month for New Japan World so I could watch some random card in Hokkaido.
I mean, shit, you told me about Kenny. You got me on Kenny, and it was like, and it changed my whole perspective of everything.
I just, his entire kit as a wrestler is insane.
Beautiful.
I love the fact that he's a huge fucking nerd like me.
I love his moves, the One Wing Angel,
V-Trigger. Just everything about him is just so clean, impactful, and Bullet Club. Let's be real. Bullet Club in America was so hot to the point where Vince banned Bullet Club t-shirts from events.
And now they're back, and it's crazy. I know Kevin Nash is like, yeah, we started Too Sweet, but y'all don't own it. Y'all don't own it no more. It is Bullet Club.
Yeah, no, the international property, I don't know if it applies to Japan, but just what Kenny did for me for wrestling to get me reinvigorated with wrestling, where I was only knowing WWE. I knew like what Impact was. I knew what TNA was, but I never watched it. And then watching New Japan Club. So it's like Kenny, Ricochet, Will Ospreay, just got me into this new sphere, and then discovering Okada, Naito, Tanahashi. Just like, who are these people? And just sparked my love for wrestling again. Because that's like, and I just think, I mean, in terms of like New Japan wrestling, he's probably the most prolific gaijin ever to wrestle for New Japan.
It's him or AJ.
Him or AJ for sure. It's what he did for, I feel like North America in general and worldwide global wrestling is unparalleled. Him and the Bucks.
I'm not mad at that pick at all. I get it, and I knew you would have them both on there. And like those two are great. They're on my list for a reason. Let's give your list again.
Okay, yep, sure thing. So my number 5 was Bryan Danielson. Number 4 was CM Punk. Number 3 was Randy Orton. Number 2 was Okada. And number 1 was Kenny Omega.
So my number 5 is The Shield, Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins. My number 4 is Okada. My number 3 is Kenny Omega. My number 2 is the two heels of WWE, Edge and Randy Orton. And my number 1 is John Cena. I kind of feel bad because I kind of want AJ Styles at that number 5 spot, but like, I just want it to be known how much I love AJ Styles and like how important he is to wrestling. Like what he did, as much as we give praise to Kenny, and rightfully so, AJ's right fucking there.
Yeah,
like right there. Like I know Finn Balor started Bullet Club, but Bullet Club did not start until AJ Styles and the OC were involved, really.
Yeah, no, like, yeah. Kenny kind of getting rid of AJ, and then the whole everybody turning on AJ and Bullet Club
made it global.
To me, that's what sparked Bullet Club, and then just Kenny's rise and the Bucks as well to just like superstardom overseas.
And give some credit to Hangman and Cody because like they were involved in that as well.
Cody was cool. Hangman,
you know,
see, I'm more along the lines of like maybe like the Gorillas of Destiny, like Tom.
Okay.
Like I think what they did over there as well was just so cool, and what Bullet Club did for North America is just like next level shit. And that's why I gave him like the rank that he is. And I just think his in-ring work is him and Okada are like to
the
me
best.
1 and 2.
Yeah.
It's like Okada, Ospreay, and Kenny are like 1, 2, 3. They're like all right here at the top.
Like they're the best wrestlers in the world, and only other 2 people that can compete with them are Seth Rollins and Bryan Danielson. That is
I think that's fair. Yep.
Like that is it. But awesome. This has been an incredible episode 6. So great episode 6. Pete, tell the people they can follow you out on social media.
Yeah, social media. Follow me. Personal is Don't Sweat with 3 T's. Don't Sweat TT. Otherwise, if you want to talk wrestling, join Lynn's Discord.
Yes, sir. Y'all definitely. Link will be in the description. Also, I didn't realize I didn't follow you on Don't Sweat. Like I just followed you literally like the other day. I did not realize it. And you didn't follow me either. I did not realize that. Like I was like, what? How did we not follow each other? So I was like, let me follow. So yeah, no, y'all go follow him.
I follow you on my other account. Yeah.
Yeah, no big. But I was just shocked. I was like, how? There's no way. This is weird.
Yeah.
It's just strange. But y'all go follow Pete on both Don't Sweat and What Do You Say Anime. Check out his podcast. Y'all can follow me at LimbWT, follow Bros Who Think at Bros Who Think. And yeah, like we said, this is our preview for Full Gear. Next week we'll drop just a WWE War Games pod. So be sure to look out for that. But until then, have a good one and peace.
Peace.